Well, it's Cinco de Mayo, but I don't have a tequila or a sombrero. But anyway, it's Tuesday, and you all know what that means as well. Well, as you probably know, Marvelous just celebrated their 10th anniversary, of course, at the Yokohama Buntai, featuring, of course, the WWID Men's Championship and two of their titles on the line, but also features, of course, the retirement match of Rin. As you know, she made her return earlier this year, but however, she decided to put herself in a match teaming up with the icon of wrestling, of course, Mayu Iwatani, to take on Miyu Momono and Izuki Aoki, which is going to be a lot of fun. And then we move on with our last review, which is NXT. As you know, last week we just saw the chaos has been sprung upon, challengers coming left and right for championships to grab, and of course, new faces appearing in NXT. So we'll see how things will progress from there. And then, as always, we'll wrap up our episode as usual with some news updates to give you guys an update on what's been happening in the world of wrestling, such as what events the promotions are thrown out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information is unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do some real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Nike Sayaka watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us and click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, enough of the jibber jappers, so it's time to buckle up. So let's begin, of course, with Marvelous. Okay, Marvelous 10th anniversary commemorative event, and this is their much recent show at the Yokohama Buntai. Hopefully, I pronounced it right. First, they opened up with an opening with a roll call, of course, of everyone involved of this day's events, of course. And then, of course, we cannot forget, of course, the founder of Marvelous, Shigusa Nagayo, being there, of course. Now, we opened up with the WWE Men's Championship. Starboy Charlie takes on, of course, well, you can say his frenemy if you want, Titus Alexander, also fellow Crush Boy. So it's an interesting matchup. Now, of course, Titus Alexander will never shy away from his past a little bit, being one time a heel. So he tried to win in every way possible. But man, these guys took it to the limit. And just like that, I was impressed by it. But unfortunately, Starboy Charlie was able to pick up the win by applying a Dragon Sleeper, and just like that, Alexander had no choice but to tap out. Now our next match is a four-way tag team match, which is a intergender tag team match, of course. A man and a woman, of course. That's how they were doing. Now, team number one, we have, of course, Ray Lynn. Many of you know her. I don't know if she's married to him or not, with Sam Adonis, who's also related to Corey Graves. She teams up with, damn it, five. Yep, Alan Angels. They take on Renee Michelle, Yusuke Santamaria versus Miku Alana and Vinny Masario. And then Sakura Hiroda, well, she had no partner, but I can't believe she did this. She just pulled him off while he just had his match. Titus Alexander. He was like already tired as hell, you know. And I thought it was really, really funny. And of course, I mean, this match was chaotic. I mean, I don't know how the ref was able to pull it off. But luckily, it was Hiroda who was able to pick up the win by applying a Hurricanrana on Yusuke Santamaria. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, over. Next match, we have Senka Akatsuki, who is one of the rookies of Marvelous, but also the current Sendai Girls Junior World Champion, takes on the Pink Striker. Now, keep in mind, there is no title match involved, but man, Senka Akatsuki, she has, like, you know, the spirit of a warrior who will not back down from nobody. But when it comes to the Pink Striker, if I would have been afraid of her, but no, she showed that she's not afraid, no matter who she was. But unfortunately, she got skull kicked. And just like that, it was over completely. 1, 2, 3, done. Now, our next match, we had a 6-woman tag team match. We have, of course, the rookie Hidiji Saitame. She also teams up with another rookie, but she already is a bit of farther advanced than her. Sora Ayame. They team up with, of course, the one you don't see making biscuits. I'm talking about Aja Kong. They take on another rookie named Ruka Hare, Aya Hausen, and then, of course, the founder of Marvelous, Shikuza Nagayo. Obviously, it was going to be a brutal match, but however, of course, it doesn't shy away the fact that many of the rookies will definitely be one of the rookies will be the ones that take the fall on this one. So basically, you have two of the much fresher rookies involved, and they would have been the most obvious choice to take them out. But in the end, it was Aja Kong who picked up the win onto Amihari, I think that's her name. But yes, she was the one that lost. Then later we did see, of course, Sora Ayame tried to shake hands with Shigusa Nagayo, but she acted like she's 12 years old by kicking her in the knee. I don't know if she picked up this bad habit from Rianne. I don't know, but I thought it was really funny how it is. But yeah. Now, anyway, let's move on. Our next match, we have, of course, a street fight of sorts. Of course, we have Johnny Robbie, Jesse Jackson, Masha Slamovich, and Queen Aminata taking on, who is it? Yeah, Ichika Miyabe, Veni, Rina Yamashita, and Shikayo Nagashima. So basically, all hell will break loose on this one. I mean, there was a lot of plunder being used in this match. I mean, chairs, tables, whatever they get their hands on. And that's pretty much what was going on. But in the end, it was Queen Aminata who picked up the win onto Miyabi. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Now, our next match is a singles match. We have Mei Seira taking on Miyu Momono. Now, some of you may ask me this question. What is Mei Seira doing here? Well, obviously, for those who don't know, before she went to Stardom, she was in Marvelous. She went by a different last name, Mace Ho something. I don't know exactly. But she was brought upon to come to Stardom thanks to Starlight Kid for a match that, of course, that she was in. And that's how it happened. But it was a pretty good match. But it was Miyu Momono that picked up the win by applying Code Red. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was done. And then we did see a bit of a post-match promo with both ladies talking to each other. But yes. However, Miyu Momono had to pull a double duty, of course. Not only she was in this match, in the singles match, of course, she was also involved in the retirement match of Ren. She teams up with Izuki Aoki, taking on the Icon Mayu Iwatani and Ren. And I thought the match was pretty fun. But there was a moment where, of course, Aoki, well, here in the States, we would say, you effed up. She accidentally stopped the 3 count when Mio Momono had this match won. I don't know what she was thinking. She realized she made a mistake. I don't know if she thought that it was, I don't know, when Mio Momono tried to, that Rin pinned Mio, and I don't know if that was like a bit of a, like, oops, sorry. She's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. But that might have cost her dearly, because in the end it was Ren with the dragon suplex, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. And then there was like a bit of a video montage of her, of her debut, her time leaving, her getting married, having her daughter with her husband, and then of course she had some words to say and all that. And then we did have the 10 bell salute or something, and then the send off. And of course, Rin had to go down the ring and hug her mentor and her, and her mother figure, of course, Shigusa Nagayo, because who knows when these two will see each other again. But it was very emotional. I'm not gonna lie. Now our next match is for the AAW Tag Team titles. Our champions, Magenta, consisted of Maria and Riko Kawahara. They take on Nyla Rose. Yes, folks, the same Nyla Rose. And she's still signed with AEW, in case anybody asks. She teams up with Nightshade. Now, of course, this was going to put, of course, Maria and Riko Kawahara to the test, knowing too well these are two big women that you definitely are going to have a hard time to put down. And that's exactly what we're going to see. But, of course, they try to go at being a heel faction that they are, both Magenta. They tried to soften them up outside the ring, going through chairs, rolling them stairs, but nothing worked. But unfortunately, it was Nightshade who choke bombed Maria, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. It was completely over from there, and brand new AAW Tag Team Champions. Now our main event, well, this one's an interesting one, is the AA Championship. Takumi Iroha, of course, who many people would say she's the ace of Marvelous. Well, she takes on her tag partner of Spark Rush, Suri. And of course, this was going to be a hard-hitting match no matter what. I mean, Suri does hit hard, not going to lie about that. And they went all out. But unfortunately, Suri ended up on the wrong side of the running 3. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, Takumi Iroha retained the championship. And I thought the event was great. We did see a post-match promo where both Takumi and Suri actually talked. Don't know what they said. They don't have like the same kind of thing what Stardom and New Japan has, or the same thing in Noah or whatever. But yes, that's what happened. I have to say, pretty good show. I liked it. So right now we are done with Marvelous. Let's move on with our last review, and that is, of course, NXT. All right. NXT, as you know, went into a new shift where things change, but some things remain the same. But however, the chaos has spread upon NXT, of course. We've been seeing new faces appearing in both, of course, Evolve, the LFG, and elsewhere that you wouldn't possibly imagine. Now, Tony D'Angelo, as you know, has been the primary target of recent attacks from various people. However, of course, he was in the backstage. He went on the attack against, of course, Tavion Heights, and just like that, it was happening. However, they set up a match for those two anyway. Now, our opening match, we have Jada Parker versus Callie Armstrong. As you know, nothing compared what we've been seeing with the women's division. We've been seeing Callie Armstrong, who also is trying to make a name of herself in NXT. However, she has to go through Miss Parker. And I thought the match was pretty good. But however, Callie Armstrong showed who exactly she is. I mean, We cannot deny her accomplishments in Evolve, but she's paying off exactly who she is meant to be, and she took out Jada Parker with the Cali connection. 1, 2, 3, it's over. We did see a little later how Jada Parker was frustrated with all these losses, and then of course Natty appeared out of nowhere. So who knows where that storyline is going to go, but it's exciting to see. Now, Mr. Stone had a little talk with, of course, with Tony D'Angelo. They asked him, what the hell was that all about? So as you know, Tony D'Angelo hasn't forgotten what happened last time. So that was the main reason. So we'll see what happened. Now, Birthright, as you know, are making plans of their own, acting like a bunch of child kids. But however, Finley, of course, Uriah Connor's father, let's just say he had a message that he had to deliver to Birthright on behalf of course, Sir William Regal, and telling him that his son Charlie Dempsey has been sent back to, of course, to do some training, but of course he'll be setting the three in remaining on a six-man match. But of course, it seems Ariana Grace is like in that position where she knows that maybe you guys did something wrong and you need to deal with it somehow. Now, as you know, we saw Evil made his appearance last week, but however, we weren't sure what name they were going to put him in. He goes by the name of Nataku, and of course, his primary objective is the NXT Championship. So obviously, that's what he's going to do. So we don't know when or where, but we will see exactly when he rack up some wins and show the world who he really is. So, and he will be making his in-ring debut next week. So, can't wait to see that. Now, our next match is Jasper Troy taking on Jackson Drake. Now, since these guys act like they think they still run the joint, let's just say Jasper Troy decided to teach these guys a lesson. Now, of course, the Vanity Project was going to get involved one way or the other, but it wouldn't be a problem for Jasper Troy until Michael Lockwood, this woman that, a big woman who, of course, Jackson Drake met when Charlotte Hill separated the Vanity Project away from Blake Monroe. Let's just say that she showed up and helped Jackson Drake by body slamming him down. And just like that, Jackson Drake applied a 450. 1, 2, 3. It's over. So it seems that, of course, Jackson Drake, even though he did not like what happened to him last time, let's just say he's enjoying what could be good for him. So we'll see where that leads us to. Now, once again, Tristan Angels, who many of you seen him recently on Evolve, well, he's sending a direct message to that he will be aiming for the NXT Championship. But the one thing that he made it clear is how everybody are, the way they are behaving. He acts like he thinks he's the perfect specimen that deserves to be the NXT Champion. Well, we'll see what happens until then. Now, Zarya comes out, as you know, making her way to the ring, talking about how different NXT is without the deadweight. But the one thing that, of course, she talked about was the NXT Women's North American title. However, Tatum Paxley shows up, tries to clarify her some things that she needed to understand. But however, of course, Lizzie Rain showed up. So did, of course, Nikita Lyons. So it seems people are now aiming for this title. So we'll see where that leads us, because it led into a brawl and it became really, really chaotic. Now, the Vanity Project, as you know, they're happy with the win that Jackson Drake got. They appeared again in front of Romeo Moreno, who, as you know, they are making fun of him, until, of course, Noam Dar showed up, of course, that introduced himself and all that. But, of course, Noam Dar said he wants to have a match against Jackson Drake, but he told, of course, the Vanity Project to stay behind, but all of a sudden, Micah Lockwood decided they're with me. So if anybody has a problem with it, deal with it. And of course, Noam Dar's like, oh man. And of course, Jackson Drake, he's happy as a clown, like, at least this came good out of it for himself. Now, once again, as you know, Tony D'Angelo has been the subject of target attacks and ambushes by various people. Well, Cam Hendricks showed up and attacked of course, basically everybody wants a piece of Tony D'Angelo to become the NXT champion. Now, Mr. Stone, as you know, he has been trying to take control of this matter, but seems like he has to make tough calls. So he pushed ahead, of course, Lola Vice and Mr. Iguana to take on the Culling, Izzy Dame, and Nico Vance. And I thought the match was fun and, of course, very exciting. But, of course, the draw story of this one is that Izzy Dame is aiming for the NXT Women's title. So she feels Lola Vice's run is now coming short. And, of course, Shawn Spears was going to get involved. But, of course, Lola would have won if it wasn't for Nico Vance. And just like that, it was a knee strike by Izzy to Lola. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was done. Now, Miles Bourne was talking to Tavian Heights about how this was happening, you know, with this whole matter. And even Mr. Stone was trying to reason with Tavion that they're going to let this match happen, but they had to do it in the main event, which of course he had no problem. But Zarya was not happy with the result, the fact that she wants the NXT North American Championship, but of course she cannot stand the fact that Lizzie Rain and Nikita Lyons are involved. So basically, he put her in a tag match, which she did not want. But however, Mr. Stone is saying, do you want to have a shot at this belt? Then you do exactly what I say in order for you to get that opportunity. And of course, Zarya may not like what she's hearing, but she has no other choice. Now, we did see, of course, Tank and Tank taking on Dark State. What's his name? Cutler James and Osiris Griffin. Man, the match was good until, of course, the Lennox and Sugars were in fact once again at each other's throat, bringing on a chair in the matter. So basically, James and Osiris had to, of course, control the matter, and I thought the match was pretty well until, of course, Cutler James picked up the win by pinning Tank, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was done. Now, Kelani Jordan, of course, let's just say she also aims for the NXT Women's Championship, and she got into the face of Lola Vice and reminded her that she was the one who made her submit. However, Kendall Gray showed up too. However, she did state it, she is aiming for the NXT Women's title, but however, her focus is Kelani Jordan for what she did to her friend, Ren Sinclair. So that kind of sets it up right there. Now, Keanu Carver, as you know, he has his own agenda, what he wants. He's talking about money and all this. He doesn't want to talk the reality, what he was doing. But, so basically he had to give in to what they are asking. Now, our main event is Tavion Heights versus Tony D'Angelo, a non-title match. And I thought this match was great. I mean, it went up to the limit until Cam Hendricks tried to get involved. But thank God for Miles Bourne to handle it. But because of this matter, of course, it cost Tavion Heights the match until Tony D'Angelo applied him the debt to rights, and just like that, 1, 2, 3. However, Tony D'Angelo wanted to show respect to Tavion Heights until he was attacked by the same guy who moonsaulted him. I like to call him Fat Dude, of course, but of course reports were saying his name is Will Cross, who was from Progress Wrestling. And then once again, he took out both Tavion and Tony D'Angelo, and he calls himself Mason Roth. So basically, new things are happening. Hopefully next week we get more answers regarding this Mason Roth, whoever he is now. So stay tuned for that. But right now, let's wrap up our episode with some news updates. Well, welcome to our news update. So let's begin with upcoming events. As you know, majority of it is GCW, of course. On the 15th of May, we have the Guilty Conscience in Detroit. They announced Joey Janela taking on Teriyaki. And then, of course, on the following day in St. Louis for Gateway to the Death, the GCW Ultraviolet Championship will be on the line. Matt Tremont will defend it against Jameson. I think that's the name. Yes, Jameson something. And then, of course, the following day in Des Moines, Iowa, which is their debut location, Ring of Fields on the 17th of May. Vipers will take on Orny Vert, and that's going to be very interesting. And then, of course, we have the race against time taking place in Cincinnati on the 19th of June. Joey Janela will take on, of course, the cold, handsome devil Hook. Then we have, of course, the Wrestling Revolver, No Country for Old Manser on the 12th of June. They announced that the Revolver Remix Championship, BDE, will be defending it against Brent Oakley from, of course, the Algorithm, and that's pretty much what we have for our upcoming events. Now, for some interesting developments, Eric Young was on a huge pop talking about TNA management telling the talent to stay within their match times. And this is what he said, and this was reported by Fightful Select. If you go under or you go over, you're in trouble. And I always say this to the younger guys. When I was younger, I was in the middle of the show of the beginning of the show. I went along. I had to tell AJ Styles and Kurt Angle they got three less minutes because I used it, and that's unacceptable. And right now, it's something that the company is definitely clamping down on. Last TV went really, really well because managers said, look guys, if you can't hit the times you can't do what we're asking to do those times, we'll find people that can. And that's just nature of the business. So yeah, so they're telling them to keep their times the way that it should be. And he said that back then they never had that, but now that it's being structured. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, you guys tell me, when you read this. Brody King recently was on Square Circle Expo. This was coming from STV Media talking about this. I feel some people came to AEW thinking that it's going to be something different, and they didn't last. For better or worse. Some of them have success, some of them haven't. But the people that they're now want to be AEW because they want to do the product that we provide. So I think that, I don't know if this is a direct line to what's going on recently, as you know, with Aleister Black, also known as Malachi Black, maybe returning to AEW. Now, there's those that say they don't want him there, and I respect that, and I understand. Like, they feel like you weren't even being, that person. So I get it. So we'll see how things will go from there. So as of right now, let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, as you probably know, we have Evolved and AEW Dynamite. I can't wait to see this. I'm a bit behind, of course, on Stardom with their Golden Week Tour and Choco Pro as well. So we'll see how things will go from there. But I'll keep you guys informed of anything else. But as of right now, I'll say this, that I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I'm going to bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.
Are you ready?